also known as African trypanosomiasis, is a parasitic disease that affects humans and animals in sub-Saharan Africa. It is caused by the protozoan parasite Trypanosoma brucei, which is transmitted to humans through the bite of the tsetse fly. There are two types of sleeping sickness. The first stage, which is characterized by fever, headaches, joint pain, and itching, and the second stage, which occurs when the parasite crosses the blood-brain barrier and affects the central nervous system. In the second stage, patients may experience a range of symptoms, including confusion, seizures, and sleep disturbances, hence the name, sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness is a neglected tropical disease that affects some of the poorest and most marginalized communities in Africa. It is estimated that around 70 million people are at risk of infection, with approximately 10,000 new cases reported each year. The disease is particularly prevalent in rural areas where people rely on agriculture and livestock for their livelihoods. Diagnosis of sleeping sickness can be challenging, as the symptoms are similar to those of other diseases such as malaria and typhoid fever. Laboratory tests are required to confirm the presence of the parasite in the blood or cerebrospinal fluid. Treatment for sleeping sickness depends on the stage of the disease. In the first stage, patients are usually treated with medications such as pentamidine or Suramin. In the second stage, treatment is more complex and may involve drugs such as melarsoprol or eflornithine, which can have serious side effects. Prevention of sleeping sickness involves controlling the tsetse fly population through the use of insecticide-treated traps and screens, as well as educating people about the risks of infection and how to protect themselves. There is also ongoing research into the development of new drugs and vaccines to combat this devastating disease. Sleeping sickness, also known as African trypanosomiasis, is a parasitic disease that affects humans and animals in sub-Saharan Africa. It is caused by two subspecies of the Trypanosoma parasite, Trypanosoma brucei gambiense and Trypanosoma brucei rhodesiense. The disease is transmitted by the tsetse fly, which is found in rural areas of Africa. When an infected tsetse fly bites a human or animal, the parasite enters the bloodstream and begins to multiply. The symptoms of the disease can take weeks or even months to appear. In the early stage of the disease, symptoms can include fever, headache, joint pain, and itching. As the disease progresses, it can cause neurological symptoms such as confusion, sleep disturbances, and seizures. This is why it is called sleeping sickness, as it can cause disruptions in the sleep-wake cycle. The two subspecies of the parasite cause different forms of the disease. T. gambiense causes a chronic form of the disease that can last for years, while TB. rhodesiense causes an acute form that can be fatal within months if left untreated. Sleeping sickness is a serious public health problem in sub-Saharan Africa, with an estimated 10,000 cases reported each year. The disease primarily affects rural communities where people rely on agriculture and livestock for their livelihoods. The disease can have a significant impact on the economy and social well-being of affected communities. Prevention and control of sleeping sickness involve a combination of measures, including controlling the tsetse fly population, screening and treating infected individuals, and educating communities about the disease. There are also efforts underway to develop new drugs and vaccines to combat the disease. 1. source of protein that helps in repairing and building tissues. It is also rich in iron, which is essential for the production of red blood cells. This is important in fighting sleeping sickness as the disease can cause anemia due to the destruction of red blood cells. 2. Whole grains. Whole grains are a good source of complex carbohydrates that provide the body with sustained energy. They also contain B vitamins that are important for the nervous system. This is important in fighting sleeping sickness as the disease can cause fatigue, weakness, and nervous system damage. 3. Fresh fruits and vegetables. Fresh fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that boost the immune system. They also contain fiber that helps in digestion and absorption of nutrients. This is important in fighting sleeping sickness as the disease can cause malnutrition due to poor absorption of nutrients. 4. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds are a good source of healthy fats, protein, and fiber. They also contain vitamins and minerals that are important for overall health. This is important in fighting sleeping sickness as the disease can cause weight loss and muscle wasting due to poor appetite and malnutrition. 5. Dairy products. Dairy products are a good source of calcium, protein, and vitamin D. They also contain probiotics that help in maintaining a healthy gut microbiome. This is important in fighting sleeping sickness as the disease can cause gastrointestinal problems due to the invasion of the parasite in the gut. 1. Red meat. Red meat is a bad food for sleeping sickness as it contains high levels of iron, which can promote the growth of the trypanosoma parasite responsible for the disease. Iron is an essential nutrient for the parasite, and high levels of it can lead to increased infection rates. 2. Sugary foods. Sugary foods like candy, soda, and baked goods are bad for sleeping sickness as they can weaken the immune system. High sugar intake can lead to inflammation and oxidative stress, which can make it harder for the body to fight off the parasite. 3. Processed foods. Processed foods like chips, crackers, and fast food are bad for sleeping sickness as they often contain high levels of salt and preservatives. These additives can disrupt the body's natural balance and make it harder to fight off infections. 4. Alcohol. Alcohol is a bad food for sleeping sickness as it can weaken the immune system and impair judgment. Heavy drinking can also lead to liver damage, which can make it harder for the body to fight off infections. 5. Caffeine. Caffeine is a bad food for sleeping sickness as it can disrupt the body's natural sleep patterns. Lack of sleep can weaken the immune system and make it harder for the body to fight off infections. Sleeping sickness, also known as African trypanosomiasis, is a parasitic disease that is transmitted by the tsetse fly. The disease is prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, and it can be fatal if left untreated. Therefore, it is essential to take preventive measures to avoid getting infected with the disease. Here are some tips on how to prevent getting sleeping sickness. 1. Wear protective clothing. When visiting areas where tsetse flies are prevalent, it is essential to wear long-sleeved shirts, long pants, and hats to cover your skin. Tsetse flies are attracted to bright and dark colors, so it is advisable to wear light-colored clothing. 2. Use insect repellent. Apply insect repellent on your skin and clothes to keep tsetse flies away. The repellent should contain DEET, picaridin, or IR3535. 3. Avoid bushes and tall grass. Tsetse flies are commonly found in bushes and tall grass, so it is advisable to avoid these areas as much as possible. 4. Use window screens and bed nets. Use window screens and bed nets to keep tsetse flies away from your sleeping area. Make sure that the bed nets are properly installed and do not have any holes. 5. Get vaccinated. There is no vaccine for sleeping sickness, but there are vaccines for other diseases that are prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa, such as yellow fever and meningitis. Getting vaccinated can help boost your immune system and reduce your risk of getting infected with other diseases. 6. Seek medical attention. If you experience any symptoms of sleeping sickness, such as fever, headaches, and joint pain, seek medical attention immediately. Early diagnosis and treatment can help prevent the disease from progressing to the later stages, which can be fatal. In conclusion, sleeping sickness is a serious disease that can be prevented by taking simple preventive measures. By wearing protective clothing, using insect repellent, avoiding bushes and tall grass, using window screens and bed nets, getting vaccinated, and seeking medical attention, you can reduce your risk of getting infected with the disease. Sleeping sickness, also known as African trypanosomiasis, is a parasitic disease caused by the protozoan parasite Trypanosoma brucei. The disease is transmitted by the tsetse fly, which is found in sub-Saharan Africa. Sleeping sickness can be fatal if left untreated, so early diagnosis and treatment are crucial. There are 2 stages of sleeping sickness. The first stage is characterized by non-specific symptoms such as fever, headache, and joint pain, while the second stage involves neurological symptoms such as confusion, sleep disturbances, and seizures. The treatment of sleeping sickness depends on the stage of the disease. In the first stage, patients are typically treated with drugs such as pentamidine or suramin. These drugs are administered intravenously and are effective in killing the parasites in the bloodstream. In the second stage, when the parasites have crossed the blood-brain barrier and infected the central nervous system, a different set of drugs is required. The most commonly used drug for second-stage sleeping sickness is melarsoprol, which is administered intravenously. Melarsoprol is effective in killing the parasites in the brain, but it can have serious side effects, including encephalopathy and convulsions. Another drug used in the treatment of second-stage sleeping sickness is eflornithine. This drug is administered intravenously and is less toxic than melarsoprol. Eflornithine is effective in killing the parasites in the brain, but it is more expensive than melarsoprol. In addition to drug treatment, supportive care is also important in the treatment of sleeping sickness. Patients may require treatment for secondary infections, such as pneumonia or meningitis, and may need nutritional support to regain their strength. Prevention of sleeping sickness involves controlling the tsetse fly population through the use of insecticides and the clearing of vegetation around human settlements. Screening of blood donors and the use of insecticide-treated bed nets can also help to reduce the spread of the disease. In conclusion, sleeping sickness is a serious disease that requires prompt diagnosis and treatment. The choice of treatment depends on the stage of the disease, and supportive care is also important. Prevention measures can help to reduce the spread of the disease. I hope you found this information helpful. Please consider subscribing and setting notifications for future updates.